I bet you can't name all 7 wonders of the world without Googling them. Don't worry, most people would stumble after the third one too. And that's because almost all of them have vanished. Imagine this. You build something so epic that the whole world is in shock, and a few centuries later, all that's left of your mega project is a pile of sand and a couple of angry comments from archaeologists. My name is Gordii, and today we're doing a real-world ancient stress test. We're going to find out why the Great Pyramid is still standing while the rest crumbled, burned down, or turned out to be ancient fakes. This isn't a boring textbook. This is a countdown of the most insane structures humanity managed to lose. Let's go! The Temple of Artemis. It was massive, white, and very flammable. It was destroyed by the first hater in history. A guy named Herostratus wanted to be famous, but he had zero talent. So what did he do? He just burned down the most beautiful temple in the world. This was the first case of cancel culture in history. The judges banned anyone from saying his name under penalty of death to erase him from memory forever. But as you can see, the plan failed. We're still talking about this guy today whenever we mention human stupidity. The temple was 4 times the size of the Parthenon, but one torch in the hands of a loser turned it to ash. Moral of the story? Don't be like Herostratus. Create content, don't burn it. The Colossus of Rhodes. A giant bronze statue of the sun god as tall as a 10-story building. The people of Rhodes cast it from the melted-down weapons of their enemies. It was the ultimate level of trolling. You came to conquer us, and we turned your swords into a monument of our victory. Legend says he stood right over the harbor entrance, and ships sailed between his legs. In reality, he probably would have collapsed under his own weight into the water. But even on the shore, he only stood for 50 years. An earthquake hit, and the giant snapped at the knees. Here's the weird part. He lay on the ground for 800 years, and for those 8 centuries, he remained a wonder of the world. People came from all over just to hug his big toe, which was the size of a human. Talk about being a legend even after a fall. Heading to Greece, to Olympia. This is where the final boss lived, Zeus. 12 meters of gold and ivory. But this masterpiece had one hilarious problem. Zeus was too big for his own temple. The sculptor, Phidias, got so carried away with the scale that the god's head nearly touched the ceiling. People joked, if Zeus decides to stand up from his throne, he'll just rip the roof off the temple and walk out. It was an ancient 5D attraction. You'd walk into a dark hall, smell the incense, and suddenly a giant with living eyes made of precious stones is staring at you. His skin glowed in the dim light, and his pure gold robes were blinding. Every athlete before the games had to swear to him not to cheat. Imagine trying to lie to a guy that size. The fourth wonder, the Hanging Gardens of Semiramis. This is probably the biggest "I'm sorry, honey" gift in history. King Nebuchadnezzar II messed up so bad with his wife, or just loved her so much, that instead of a bouquet of roses, he built her a mountain of jungle in the middle of a scorching desert. His wife, Amytis, came from green forests and fell into a deep depression in dusty Babylon. To cheer her up, the king ordered an engineering miracle. Imagine, terraces planted with exotic flowers, palms, and cedars, hanging right off massive walls. But here's the catch. Scientists have dug up all of modern Iraq and found 0 bricks. There's a theory that the Hanging Gardens were the first marketing stunt in history. Ancient travelers described them so vividly that the whole world believed it. But if they were real, it was the most hardcore irrigation system ever. Hundreds of people worked 24/7 to pump river water to the height of a 10-story building. A real oasis in the center of hell. If it was a fake, it was the most beautiful fake in history. The Lighthouse of Alexandria. This was real ancient high-tech. At 120 meters high, it was basically a skyscraper. A giant bonfire burned at the top, and behind it was a system of massive polished mirrors. The light was so strong that sailors could see it from 50 kilometers away. Inside the lighthouse was a spiral shaft used to lift fuel on carts. It was a prototype of a modern elevator. The lighthouse wasn't just for show. It actually saved thousands of lives by guiding ships. It stood longer than any other wonder except the pyramids and was the last to fall. The lighthouse proved one thing: if you build something truly useful, time treats you with respect. King Mausolus was so afraid of being forgotten that he built himself a skyscraper tomb. Imagine, 45 meters high, a mix of an Egyptian pyramid, Greek columns, and a giant marble chariot on the roof. It was so fancy and expensive that the king's name became a permanent word. Now any mausoleum in the world is a shout-out to that ambitious guy. Inside were hundreds of statues that looked lifelike. It was the most luxury real estate for the afterlife in history. The mausoleum stood for 1,500 years. Wars couldn't destroy it. Only a powerful earthquake turned it into ruins. But hey, now every important ruler wants their own Mausolus-style tomb. My favorite fail. Finally, OG of all wonders, the Great Pyramid of Giza. The only one that survived this game of elimination. But don't think it was always this dusty and yellow. When it was first finished, it shone like a brand new smartphone straight out of the box. It was covered in polished white limestone casing stones, buffed to a mirror finish. On a sunny day, it literally blinded anyone who looked at it. And at the very top sat a golden capstone, the Pyramidion. Imagine, in the middle of a desert, there's a giant white crystal with a gold tip. It was the tallest object on the planet for almost 4,000 years. That's like having a Minecraft record that no one can beat for an eternity. How did they build it? Scientists are still arguing. Ramps, levers, or magic? Actually, it's just incredible math. Blocks weighing 2 tons are fitted together so perfectly that you can't even slide a credit card between them. The pyramid survived only because it's basically a massive mountain of stone. And a mountain is very hard to knock down, even if you try really hard. It's the only grandpa on our list who has seen it all. So why did almost all these wonders disappear? Because they were too complex. People built them at the very limit of their technology, and time doesn't like fragile things. But look around. Your phone, the internet, massive stadiums, and rockets. 2,000 years ago, all of this would have been considered the 8th wonder of the world. We keep building insane things. They just fit in our pockets now. Which of these wonders would you want to rebuild first?
That's it for today's story. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I'd be super grateful if you could subscribe to the channel.